Breaking news, Microsoft is giving up. The Xbox name and the Xbox console and the Xbox plan will forever change after today's leak. So, good morning, Mario, and good morning, Switch fans. How does that impact Switch? Well, actually, it impacts it a lot. Xbox has been sharing a number of games with Nintendo this current generation, and going forward, the Switch 2, given more power and better performance, it seems like we could be getting anything and everything. So what's going on, everybody? It's Zach from SwitchForce. Hit that like button if you enjoy the video. Let me know what you think of this in the comments down below. The breaking news is that an exclusive report dropped on XboxEra that Microsoft plans to release Starfield for PS5. Now, this is a monumental shift in strategy and one that has been brewing for the past month or so. We've talked on the channel before about Microsoft bringing games like Hi-Fi Rush over to PlayStation and Nintendo Switch, and that's basically been confirmed by ratings boards and by the recent data mine of the anniversary update that showcased a t-shirt for both PlayStation and a t-shirt for Nintendo Switch. We've also heard about Sea of Thieves coming to other platforms and potentially being another great get for Nintendo Switch. But those seem to be Microsoft's lower end titles, or at least their smaller titles, not ones they paid billions of dollars for. Bethesda was acquired by Microsoft before Activision Blizzard, but it was meant to be a big exclusive get. Xbox has always struggled with exclusives, something that both Sony and Nintendo are very strong at. Sony's got its Uncharted, its God of Wars, its Last of Us. Nintendo has everything. You know, Mario, Yoshi, Peach, Daisy, Bowser, Donkey Kong, Star Fox, Smash Bros, Mario Kart, Zelda, and Splatoon, Pikmin. We could go on forever. Xbox struggles. Gears of War, Halo. Haven't really evolved much since, and those games seem to be losing popularity. But now with Starfield, the big Bethesda exclusive, the game that everybody thought was going to be Microsoft's huge get of the generation, now coming to PlayStation 5. And it's backed up by a Nintendo dude, NateDrake, however you know him, Direct Feed Games. This report is accurate. Starfield will land on PlayStation. I've heard similar but opted to wait on reporting this information until the PS5 release timeline was finalized. As the report states, the PS5 release will come after the arrival of the expansion DLC on Xbox and PC. But releasing Starfield to PlayStation opens Microsoft and Xbox to releasing Starfield on Nintendo Switch, and it opens any and every game. It feels like Microsoft is making a monumental shift where they are giving up. And we've also heard a report that they are going to be speaking in the spring on their new change in strategy. They are going to apparently be giving their games away and trying to become much more of a multi-platform company, and one that de-emphasizes its own console and one that emphasizes Game Pass and just spreading the titles. Now, I do wonder if Starfield's sort of ho-hum response could play into part of this. Maybe they were expecting Starfield to be the next Skyrim, the next huge thing, and it just really wasn't, and therefore they had to about face. Or maybe they backed themselves into such a corner and they realized that their console sales cannot possibly support all the money that they've spent on acquisitions, and exclusives just aren't doing what they could. Or maybe Game Pass has backed them into a corner. They've started giving things away for free, set this precedent, and now they need to expand their user base, otherwise it will not pay off. Regardless, if you're a Nintendo only player, man, your soup just got that much tastier. Now, Nintendo will never do this. I don't care what reports you see. I don't care what rumors you see. Nintendo will not be gifting their games to PlayStation or to the PC, and surely not to Xbox. This is not something that Nintendo, I think, will ever do in the history of their company going forward. They are very much confident that their games make their consoles, and we have all the evidence to prove it. Sony might even feel the same way to a lesser extent, but Microsoft doesn't. And it's evident. The Microsoft Xbox ecosystem has struggled for a while now. They can't seem to get a grip on exactly what they want to be, what they want to do. And even though they came in with a strong console, in some ways the strongest console, I think they butchered things by a poor lineup. All of their big games just being delayed and delayed and delayed. We haven't seen anything yet from Fable. Hellblade has been delayed multiple times. All these games announced are just nowhere to be seen. And then they have the issue of releasing the Xbox Series S, a cheaper console that ended up hamstringing a lot of developers, causing issues and providing a much cheaper entry point to the ecosystem than I'm sure they'd prefer. Couple that with Nintendo's portability being huge, and now maybe it's just time for them to release Starfield on Nintendo Switch 2. Could we get Starfield on Nintendo Switch 2? We know we're getting Call of Duty. This opens the door for everything from Bethesda, and everything from Activision, and everything from Blizzard. Now, it'll probably take a while, and we won't see the fruits of this for years. And at that point, who knows? Maybe Microsoft about faces again. I know that they have been working on some sort of new hardware, but I wonder if those plans are going to change, going to devolve rather than evolve, and how Microsoft plans to really exist. Now, as a company, Microsoft has plenty of money. Their games division is one of the low points on an otherwise very successful technological masterpiece. So maybe they just sort of dip out of the console manufacturing space after a bit. Maybe they go more for a streaming box type thing that doesn't really have a lot of innards, but just streams Game Pass titles. I don't know. What's most important is Starfield going to PlayStation is a humongous shift in strategy, one that seems to have changed very rapidly for Xbox after spending billions of dollars on these acquisitions. Their plan was to get back into the same race that Sony and Nintendo are in, where their exclusives help drive hardware sales, and it just does not seem to be working. So instead, to the complete befuddlery of some and the confusion of others, including myself, they're going to give that all up and hope they can sell better multi-platform. Would you buy Starfield on Nintendo Switch if you could? Would you want to play that type of game? And given that Switch 2, which should be out later this year, will have better power, Microsoft conceivably could just port all of their games over, or as many as they want. This definitely seems like more than Hi-Fi Rush coming soon to Switch, Sea of Thieves being possible, and, the occasional Ori and Cuphead, and of course, Minecraft. It feels like we're going to start getting major, massive Xbox exclusives and big releases on other platforms, and that would definitely include Nintendo. Especially after Nintendo Switch pushed 130 plus million units, Microsoft may really want to get into the Switch 2 ecosystem early. In fact, that could be part of what is pushing this decision. Maybe they know Nintendo is about to launch their console and they'd love to get some game sales over there. The real question to me is, will Game Pass ever hit Nintendo Switch? And would Nintendo allow a side service subscription to be placed on the eShop in addition to Nintendo Switch Online? Obviously, Switch Online is its own sort of version of Weirdo Game Pass, where the games you're getting for the free pass are very old, like the NES, the SNES, the GBA, etc., etc. But would they benefit from having Microsoft Game Pass on the Switch? It's something that we've talked about many times over the last 5 years. I've never felt it was really that close, although there's been rumors that it was close. To me, today is when it's closer than ever before. There is a world where in 2 years' time, you're playing Nintendo Switch 2 with Game Pass and Switch Online both on the system. Or at the very least, you're playing Starfield and Halo, a Gears of War remake, alongside Metroid Prime 4 and the new 3D Mario. I find this to be sad at the end of the day. And I'll tell you why. It's not because getting more games on Switch makes me sad. No, that makes me happy. But at the end of the day, I think 3 platform holders is really key. There's like a balance there. 2 becomes just a competitive race between 2 probably doing different things. Sony will go super tech, Nintendo will go super accessible. That feels like it's 2 horses running their own race. The third, Microsoft, was kind of the one that kept everything connected, kind of linked it all together. And I really don't want to see Microsoft give up on their own platform. I don't think the Xbox is going away anytime soon, but I do think eventually we could be in a situation where the Xbox as its own console that provides unique exclusive experiences is no more. And if exclusives are gone, then what's the point of ever owning the console? I stand by exclusives being one of the most fun things in games, and I know that I'll get some hate for this. I know some people like to see every game on every platform, but for me, as someone that experienced the NES and the SNES and the Game Boy and the Game Boy Advance, the N64 and the GameCube and the Wii and the Wii U and the DS, the 3DS, all of these consoles, I love having games that wow, I get to play Mario on my DS. I get to play Halo on my Xbox. I get to play Uncharted on my PlayStation. I think it just makes them feel special. It builds memories. It builds attachment. And as long as it doesn't get to fanboy crazy wars, it's fun. It's cool to have a system that has its own style, its own vibe, its own sense of what makes this console tick. And I think Nintendo uses that stronger than everybody. And it's proof that if done well, you can be insanely successful with exclusives. Spreading your games around does potentially open you for more software sales, but it also dilutes the experience. More isn't always better, bigger isn't always greater. Take Nintendo, yes, they've expanded and built something like Zelda, Breath of the Wild, and Tears of the Kingdom to be quite big and substantial, but they also know that a tightly controlled Mario Wonder might be their best game of the year. They know that a remake of Mario RPG and Paper Mario are going to be huge fan favorites, and they know how to excite a base that has paid hundreds of dollars for their console. What is Microsoft doing to excite their base, besides making them regretful that they didn't get a PS5 or a Switch where they could have played many of the same games and still had exclusives? I think this is a huge turning of the tides, and we will look at this video in this day as a monumental shift in the industry if it does indeed go forward the way it looks. Starfield on PS5 is coming. Starfield on Switch, could it be far behind? It very well may be. Let me know your take in the comments down below, everybody. Thanks so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy, stay positive out there. And until next time, SwitchForce out.